Hello and welcome to episode number 19 from the Underdogs podcast. Today we will talk about separation anxiety, what's special for traumatized dogs. The issue of separation anxiety in traumatized animals is much more difficult than it is already. Most of our pets are family animals and live under natural conditions in packs, herds, groups, or even families, even if they are only humans. The animal family is programmed for the survival of the clan. Everyone has their place and their task. It is clear from birth if you lose the connection, you're dead. Now, we humans are so selfish that we keep this animal alone and leave it alone. That is feasible. No one dies from it now. But the animal has to learn that first, because his whole system becomes stressed if it is left alone. But if we do it wisely and teach the animal early enough and properly, it is quite capable of learning and understanding that staying alone does not mean the end. It is difficult for animals to understand why we leave them alone. It doesn't make sense to them. The evening at the opera or appointment at the dentist. For the animal, it feels like being abandoned or cast out. As I said, if we do it right, the animal will have the opportunity to learn and get used to the situation. It will also learn that we will come back and that it doesn't have to worry. But what about an animal that has had a bad experience? That's where it gets a little more difficult. The animal has lost its trust in humans. In my experience, it is almost impossible to teach a traumatized animal to stay alone in the same way as an animal that is not traumatized. Why? Suppose you have adopted a dog that comes from a bad home. The dog had previously been at the shelter where he was not completely alone and he learned a routine and got his first sense of security. There was regular food, it was warm and dry. This dog is coming to you now. He now has to learn everything all over again. He doesn't know you, your routine, places, smells, noises. In the shelter, the dog is safe, but also alone for long periods of time. In contrast, he now has your presence. He has to get used to that first. You take time off to spend lots of time with a new dog in the first few days. Your dog gains confidence. He feels comfortable and safe and is happy to finally have a nice place for himself. And now you're leaving to work, dentist, to a movie with friends, or to dinner. Your dog can stay at home. But he only finds that semi-optimal. His great new love simply leaves him alone. Security gone, trust gone. Your dog is extremely sensitive and easily stressed because the old fear comes back immediately. If the dog has not had a bad experience, you can build up the subject very well and condition it positively. But a dog that has had a bad experience will remember immediately. The stress and fear are back. The dog doesn't do this consciously, it happens automatically. Our system works this way so that we survive. Once you've burnt yourself on the hob, you will be extra carefully around the stove for the rest of your life. We do not want to repeat negative experiences. Certainly not life-threatening experiences. This is why our subconsciousness is very quick when it comes to negative experiences, an early warning system, so to speak. It's the same with animals. In addition, your dog now feels comfortable with you. This means double the stress. Not only are old fears coming up, but the new confident is now letting him down. Could a pet sitter help? No, not if the dog has not been able to build a stable relationship with this person. It is not a question of anyone being there. It is a question of the person of trust being there. Does medication help? They may calm the dog down, but they will not change the course and may even cause more damage in long term. If the dog is doped and then regains consciousness, the risk of fear-aggressive behavior is much higher. First of all, we need to understand that the dog's nervous system is basically under constant stress. All it takes is the slightest change and the stress erupts again. The dog feels comfortable and safe. The risk of losing this state again is high. The danger of getting into a life threatening situation again in a moment of carelessness is always omnipresent in the dog's mind. This is called hypervigilance and is a very typical trauma behavior. It means that we could not escape a dangerous situation and are now under high pressure to keep an eye on our environment so that we never experience this situation again. The system, the subconsciousness, has taken control here. This is vital for the dog. It's a bit exhausting for us. How do we get to it now? With pressure? Maybe. Maybe the dog will give up at some point, but probably not. First of all, it is important to understand that the dog does not want to annoy you and is not too stupid. In his condition, in his situation, he can't help it. You can't swim and have been thrown into deep water. You fought to survive until you lost consciousness. You are safe by chance. What is the probability that you will love deep water in the future? Probably rather low. How likely are you to trust people near water? Probably rather low. Can you consciously control that? No. Can you overcome this fear? Yes, with a lot of patience and a person at your side who you trust. But you have to rebuild this trust first. This also takes time and patience. Your dog feels the same way. When stress breaks out in your dog, he is no longer able to learn or understand anything. His brain switches to survive, fight, or flight. There is no more room to make a well considered decision. There is no aha moment possible. Panic breaks out, and no pet sitter or medication or aromatic oils or bedtime music will help. In your dog, the path from normal to panic is extremely shortened due to learned experiences. If we leave out the assessment of whether this is good or bad, then objectively speaking, this is actually a great advantage. Everything we have internalized is such a way that we do it automatically, conserve resources, and helps us survive. So, what can you do? There is no miracle cure. There is only time, patience, and love. And a good, well considered training plan with very small steps. And of course, there is a trust technique. This is a wonderful way to support and accompany the process. It helps some dogs if you condition a safe place with them. This also takes time and must be learned with a lot of patience and in very small steps. Another factor is ourselves. Do we worry too much? Are we ourselves stressed or consumed by pity because the poor dog has to suffer again? That doesn't help the dog. If I'm already stressed hours beforehand because I have to leave the dog alone afterwards, then this stress is transferred to the dog and the drama is even greater for the dog. But you can also learn this wonderful with the trust technique. Don't give up, learn the trust technique and support your dog in his process. Thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. I would be happy when you like, share, or follow us, and hope to get your attention again for the next episode. Bye.